right, welcome back. So now let's get into the papers. We have joining us on the table this morning Lawale Kundayo, who is an educationist, a farmer, and public affairs commentator. Good to have you join us this morning.
Good morning. Morning.
All right, you came prepared, I can see.
Yes.
Like an educationist that you are.
Yes, and a farmer
Welcome.
that I am.
And no, you didn't come with your
Farming
tools. It's in Port Harcourt. Sorry, it's in Rivers State. That local government chairman decided to share machetes as
farming
tools, empowerment. But
Seriously.
thank God you didn't come with any.
No.
Because I would have left the studio for you if you had. All right, let's get into the papers now. We have Daily Independence on one of the papers on our table. And we also do have our correspondent on the streets of Lagos to feel the pulse of Nigerians concerning stories that made it to the cover pages of the dailies. We'll go to the streets in a short while. But in the meantime, from the Daily Independent, banner headline here is basically something we'll be touching on this morning. It's on Rivers State. Rivers LG tenure crisis. Fubara orders probe of LGs. Swears in caretaker chairman. Says Rivers won't set precedent on LG tenure extension. PDP warns ex-Rivers LG chairman against disrupting peace. IGP orders heightened security measures in state. Warns killers of vigilante police officers arrested. And then, on top of the nameplates, another topic of discussion, Nnamdi Kanu considers out-of-court settlement with federal government, condemns killing of soldiers in Abia. APC demands state of emergency in Rivers, flares Amechi for criticizing Tinubu's administration. All right. And then when you go further down, we have Edo PDP expels Danobi, Philip Shaibu, Obeide Ihama. FG can't tax airlines to fund aviation agencies, Aero CEO. All right. Again, aviation unions call for constitution of sectors boards. All right. Again, aviation unions call for constitution of sectors boards. Okay. And we also have ITO shuts production at OML 29 in Bayelsa over oil leak. And then we have Kanu Emirship tussle. NNPP accuses FG of plotting violence, state of emergency. And the bottom strip there, Makinde OK's appointment of Olakunleyi as 43rd Olubadan. All right, these are the headlines. Which tickles your fancy? Let's start from that.
I would like to look at that Makinde OK's appointment of Olakunleyi as 43rd Olubadan. This thing is gradually, confusing the people. It's confusing the people. It's truncating our heritage. You get it? When politicians get too involved.
Isn't it the Constitution?
That is what I'm saying. That the Constitution is kind of truncating our heritage.
Traditional system of governance.
It's disrupting the mentality, the history, which is part of our heritage.
Don't you think it is the traditional rulers that are getting involved in more politics?
They are the one that makes
the colonial masters that started it, and then we just embraced it.
No, the colonial masters. What they did was that the monarchs, you get it, are the head of government. Then the politicians are the one controlling the government. Just like in Britain, where you have the king, the monarch, as head of government, and then you have the prime minister as the one, ruling, controlling the affairs.
So where did we get the idea from?
But that is what they left for us when they were going. But when the military came on board, you get it, they changed that constitution. That is why the constitution is so faulty. Because everything now, stands, on
the shoulders of the politicians.
The politician cannot be dictating, cannot be interfering in who becomes the head of the monarch. You get? And the monarch is supposed to be the one giving the staff of office to the politician. because the monarchs are the custodian of the history, the heritage
But isn't
of
that-
the people of the society.
But you see, we have the traditional system cutting across Nigeria, every part of Nigeria, but we don't see this interference from political office holders in places like Edo State.
The reason is because
don't even-
there was one. There was one
attempted.
between, I think, this government, the present governor, I think, or the former governor, and the monarch in Benin.
You're about Benin?
Yes, there was one. You get it? There was one between the former Olubadan and Ajimobi. You get it? So what we're having is that these days the politicians begin to break the power of the monarchs because they want to control the monarch. So those baales or the chiefs are elevated to the position of the king, so that they now sit equal, and then so that to disrupt the power, you get, of the paramount ruler.
But you know, these politicians are also indigenes of these places that we have these traditional chiefs to be part of. So why is it that the people are not talking about it if they think that what the politicians are doing are not in line with their custom and traditions?
Do you know? Let me tell you something about politics, which I'm part of. The mentality of a politician is to control. So he devises methods. He knows the only thing he can use is the minds of the people. The more you have people, the more power you have. That is with politics. You get it? So they control the minds of the people. That is what is going on. That's why you see on festive period, you see people lining up in the houses of a politician waiting to collect stipends and then, food. You get, it's a way of controlling their mind. Normally, you see, politicians, you only stay maybe 8 years and then you are gone.
Okay.
A monarch will remain there till the rest of his life.
So who should? Well, I think that aspect of the constitution should be addressed.
Yes.
Since
because they have relegated them to the level of into the pockets of the local government chairman. So the local government chairman is in control of the monarch, and the local government is under the state governor. So who automatically that is why up till now it's an insult that in Yoruba land up till now we don't have the Alaafin of Oyo in store. For the first time, it's over 2 years or even 3 years now that the stool of Alaafin Oyo has been vacant. Because there's a tussle between the government and the traditional chiefs. The government wants to impose the traditional says, oh no, this is the way we're supposed to do it. And up to now, we don't have it. In UK or any other place, even in Japan, forget about UK, go to Japan. They don't wait. The moment the monarch dies, the next person that is coming on board will be announced by the royal people in there. Yes,
yeah.
They are automatically announcing
So are
it.
you blaming this now on the fact that they don't have a way of appointing the new person?
They have, but the government, you get it.
Government interference.
Yes, the moment you don't pick the person that they want, they will not give approval.
All right.
Okay. Well, let's quickly run to the streets of Lagos now and feel the pulse of Nigerians. Let's hear what Nigerians have to say. Okay, so we've been told that we're still trying to get people to speak right now. In the meantime, let's go to another daily.
All right. The Vanguard newspaper this morning, the banner headline there reads, minimum wage, why governors' orders are foot dragging. You can get that on page 5, and the writers there reads, may retrenched workers need bailouts to pay. Idris detaches self from unwilling governors, awaits Labour FG's stand. No agreement but alignment of interest, OPS, pushes for new act to cover employees with minimum of 200 workers. Senator Wadada begs Tinubu to approve 150,000 naira and says lawmakers willing to make sacrifice. And the window headline there, we have custom to establish stable FX rate for imports. That is on page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper. Naira depreciation makes Lagos, Abuja cheapest global cities for expatriates. That is according to report. Cholera outbreak. FG declares emergency. NCDC DG. As some parents prevent children from school. Edoguba, PDP expels Shaibu. Oribe cites anti-party activities. Right, and we have a major pictorial where the president is having a handshake with Cyril Ramaphosa. The newly elected president of South Africa is coming in for the second term under a unity government in South Africa. ANC couldn't even win in South Africa. Okay, besides that pictorial, we have Makinde approves Olakulehin's appointment as 43rd Olubadan. While we target assets to drug barons, traffickers, and that is according to Mawa. River crisis, Fubara orders probe of LG accounts. Obaseki gives Edo CP 7 days to fish out killers of Uniben graduates. And that is all we have on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Mr. Lawale Kundayo.
Sports day, though.
I decided to jump.
So you are a sports lady now.
We'll look into that later.
Jump very well.
During Sports Republic. Mr. Lawal, which of these headlines do you want to react to?
Let's look at the issue of the minimum wage, which is a national...
I was hoping you would go there. Before you give your analysis of it, I feel insulted that Senator Wadada is saying, senators are willing to... They are willing to sacrifice. Come on. Where are they getting their money from? Is it not from taxpayers' money? So now they're doing us a favor if they say, okay, take a little of whatever it is we are having so that you can
feel just like take some, so I can alleviate, like as if that's one of the things that we are facing about Nigerian politics.
Is our democracy really expensive?
You don't see, we don't have democracy. You get it? You can say we don't have democracy, or we have a democracy that is not definable, or we are not practicing true democracy. All those things boil to the fact that, you get it, we need to go back to the basis. Because what we are practicing is what is causing all these things. So we are not democratic at all in this government.
Which base do you want us to go back to?
Somebody was agitating for regionalization government, which I support. And if you are not going to the regionalization of government, go to resource control. You get it?
All right, let's talk about this minimum wage. You were going to say something about it.
This minimum, let me tell you something. Where certain sectors of the country, certain section of the country will decide their own salary. And they will decide on that salary. It's not fair. It's not democratic.
Why will you say it's not fair when the president have come up to say that the National Assembly, this 10th National Assembly, happen to be the best partner he will boost off?
And that is the president's opinion. It's an opinion. It's not statistical, It's not fact. It's an opinion. So everybody has his own opinion.
So don't you think they are playing more like a partnership game in this particular case?
That's why I said this is opinion. So let people look at his opinion. You get it?
Check it from the way
it's been his fact, and we can analyze it.
Let's look at it from the way it started. The 100 and something million naira worth of cars to National Assembly members. Then there was a budget padding that Nnamdi talked about, which was shown. The 500 million naira shared to the senators as a means for them to carry out their constituency project was also part of it. And then we find out that somebody is actually breaking the Fiscal Policy Act. And we have not gotten any review on our budget spending so far. And yet we have 6.6 trillion naira supplementary budgets being sent to National Assembly. Don't you really think this is a partnership program running now in Nigeria?
It could be. Because one thing is this, like I said earlier on, you have 3 tiers of government. The government broken into 3. The executive, the judiciary, and the parliamentarian. And the president decides, anybody who's president decides who is the leader of the 2. So how would they function? There's no separation of power now.
But the constitution states that there should be separation of power and there will be checks and balances. That's how
so when the presidency is the one determining is influencing who becomes the head of the reps and they becomes, you also determine who becomes the head of the judiciary. Has he not captured all of the two? He has captured them now. That's why he is the one they will not decide the salary of the judiciary. And we are giving them more vehicles, a better vehicle this time. And we are increasing their salary. Why are you the one doing all that? Why are you the one? Why are they not deciding what you get?
What do you have to say about the fact that up until now, this is the third week in the month of June, Nigerian workers are yet to have the new Minimum Wage Act signed?
That's why I said we are not having democracy. We can't. We are not having democracy. If we are having democracy, you get it. All of us will decide the salary of all of us. You get it. No one person will decide, no certain sector will decide the salary of the others. Right. You decide your own salary and then decide the salary of the others. That's not fair. That's not democratic. We decide the salary, we together decide the salary of everybody. If the executive is deciding the salary of the civil servant, then the civil servant will also decide the salary, you get it, of the president.
We're talking about deciding of the salary now. Are you of the opinion that all the arms of government should receive equal salary with Nigerian labor force? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes.
So we should stop talking about some people taking a higher amount. If we have,
you can get higher amount.
See, everyone should have 150 as minimum wage. Both the executive,
that is it. Then whatever the next, what will now decide? You get it. Your increment, whether you are getting more than me, is your job. You get your job description. Somebody in the office and somebody who's going on field work will get more. Will get more, additions than somebody who's sitting in the office. So you'll be encouraged to do more. You get. So all of us across board will have minimum wage.
I was gonna ask you.
They will now have levels. The president's own level is a level
as an educationist.
30.
As an educationist, the cholera outbreak. What is the present situation in schools? Basically, maybe from where you teach.
Well, you are talking about that.
Because we see that most parents now are trying to tell the children not to go to school presently.
Even if you don't go to school, that doesn't solve the problem. You remember the COVID-19. It was God. I'm a believer of God. It was God that actually really saved Nigerians. If not, in fact...
Why did we even stop the tradition of hand washing in most places, schools and offices? The use of sanitizers and hand washing. A lot of people don't even bother about those things. They only bother when Ebola comes, when COVID comes, and after that, it's back to status quo.
Do you know the fire brigade approach? Do you remember the fire brigade approach? Do you know what the fire brigade do? They only go when there's fire. When something is being destroyed, that is when they go to stop it. That is what we'll do. The moment the fire is,
has been
extinguished, we'll go back and sit down, waiting for when there will be fire again. That's why they call it fire brigade.
That's even unfortunate.
That's it now. That's the way we operate in this country. We always wait. A road will be, when the road is having pothole, they won't come and begin to fix it until the road is not motorable. That is when they will come and start, fixing. And you see them, they will not start fixing it when it is a raining time.
So do you think it is right for CDC to also announce or make cholera now to be a case of emergency in Nigeria? So that we go back. Because here in Lagos, we have 350 cases already, suspected cases.
They have been giving warnings. Experts have been giving warning that this thing is coming, it's already appearing in some areas outside Nigeria. Then when it started in one state, we don't have all our scientists because we don't have it. They really fund a research in our institutions. They really fund. I had an issue when I was teaching long time ago before I became a head of school. I had an issue with one of my principal, a principal I was under. I said I was carrying out research. She said, no, why would you carry out research in secondary school? That research is always carried out in university. I told her that I am the one closer to the children. Not the one. The university people depend on the research. What I do here is what they depend on because they are not here with the children. I am here with the children. I have the first-hand information. The primaries, I was having serious issue with her. You get it? That is the mentality of Nigerians. Had it been we encourage the teachers, we don't overload them. A teacher that's supposed to teach, you know.
Okay. Yes, we've
short of time.
overstretched this. Let's.
Because it's a serious topic.
Yes,
on its
yes,
own.
yes, and then we'll touch on that. We'll probably create a time for that one.
That cholera.
Now let's go to the streets now. Let's listen to our correspondent who's on the streets of Lagos to feel the pulse of Nigerians.
Hello and good morning. We are already at the newspaper stand this morning to bring you the people's opinion regarding the airlines in the newspaper this morning. And with me this morning is.
Ignatius.
Okay, so what's your opinion on the airlines this morning, sir?
I don't know anything about the airline. I'm a football fan. Nothing concerned about the airline. They don't care about the big masses. They're on their own. I'm after the sports. That's what gives me joy.
Okay, so speaking about sport, what's your take on the airline on sport this morning, sir?
What I'm about is I'm concerning Osimhen. So initially supposed to go to Chelsea, but their recent coach now say he's not interested in signing Osimhen. So presently, I don't know the final place is going to be. By next season, we will know where it is. Now, Saudi Arabia are people ahead in signing it. But presently, Arsenal are contemplating on signing, but I don't know his choice. So by the beginning of next season, we will know where about he will go. For now, can't really say the actual place. Since the new manager for Chelsea said he does not want Osimhen. Know the function. So by the beginning of next season, we will know his final place to be.
Thank you very much, sir. Do have a nice day. I rarely heard from a citizen. He's not interested in politics because he feels the government does not care about us. But he's pretty much interested in Osimhen and who is going to sign him in the next season. I think I'm all for Voice of the People TV. Back to the studio.
All right, that Nigerian there chose to go the way of sports as against talking about politics. That one that Fina chose to avoid.
Came back to you.
Came back. All right then. Well, let's take a break now. When we come back, we will be talking about the Nnamdi Kanu and the federal government. Will they be having an out-of-court settlement? Let's have this conversation when we come back.